Yeah, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, we're happy to welcome you to the next CADASE Rig webinar holding today. As you can see from our program, we'll be inviting the chair of CADASE to welcome us, and then we'll proceed as we have listed on the program. You may be wondering what is NAST, what is CADASE? NAST is the #1 organization in the world for science education researchers. It's a global organization for improving science education through research. Fairly old, it was founded in 1928. Yes, 1928. And then about a decade ago, it decided to approve the setting up of what we call the Research Interest Groups, RIG. And the first research interest group is the Continental and Diasporic African in Science Education. That's CADASE. So I've given you the anti-log of CADASE, Continental and Diasporic African in Science Education Research Group. The group is chaired by Dr. Mary Atwater, who was president of NAST. And I'm not able to see Mary. Mary, are you in the room? I'm not able to see Mary right now. Mary, if you're in the room, you may wish to unmute and welcome us. I've been trying to locate her, but in an event that she will join us later, you will, Mary is not in the room now. I would like to take on the next item on the program, which is to give you a feel of what this whole project is about. The problem and the rationale of this study we can trace to about 2 decades ago, when the leaders of Africa, the heads of state and government of Africa, came together in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to agree on where Africa should be in 2063. And the outcome of that was the derivation of what is now known as Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. What's the Africa that we want? We want an Africa with all of these aspirations, one of which is a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. But you see, if you want to have an Africa with that kind of aspiration, it has been noted by the heads of state and government in the General Assembly that to attain the goals here, you have to have a rich corpus of STEM professionals. But sadly, we're having low enrollment into STEM courses, and this is persisting across the continent. Efforts have been made over the years to see how we can improve enrollment by looking at methods or strategies of improving the delivery of science education. And you have a potpourri of such methods: CTCA, discovery, learning, concept mapping, and all of that. But we find that yes, we're making some progress, but that progress is slow. There is an African research group that has been working on these matters, and we just invited the chair of CASME. CASME is the Commonwealth Association of Science and Mathematics Educators. This person, Dr. Sue Dale Tunnicliffe of the History of Education, University College London, we just invited her, and she was quite happy about what we're doing. But she said to us, "Oh, my friends, you have missed the boat." So, how did we miss the boat? I said, "Look, you are looking out, we are looking beyond the children. Now you should go back, you can look at children's science. Look at how in the early years the children can be stimulated. African students can be stimulated, to learning science. So what she says is that we're paying scant attention to the early years. And so we decided to come up with a project that will catch them young for science. So our research team decided to shift focus on the early years. So we also found that in home, I can see Dr. Olufemi Adiba, children in the home, you know, they love to play. And all of us, you know, our grandchildren, third children, the home and the playground, you know, are areas where our children like to play in the early years. And we have a lot of folklores in Africa, which are laced, very dense with cultural activities for children. And so this provided the context for our study. We have two research questions, dear participants. The first is that we wanted to find out the home and playground activities that African children engage in and the folklores that are predisposing to the learning of science concepts and early acquisition of scientific attitudes. So we then follow that up to say, how can the interests of preschool children be stimulated through home and playground activities to enhance the possibility of their future interest in science? We have quite some folklores in Africa, as I mentioned, and you can see these materials were written by former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, the tortoise and the snake. We have a lot of things rolling around. The tortoise rolling around, you know, some animals and others. So we are leveraging on this for the folklore thing. The theoretical framework of our work, of course, is derived from quite a lot of sources, but I would like to yield to the person who stimulated us to this line of project, this line of research, Dr. Cyril Tunnicliffe of the Institute of Education, University College London, to give us the theoretical framework. Over to you, Dr. Cyril Tunnicliffe.
Thank you very much, Peter. I don't have a screen or anything to show. I'm just going to talk as I talk to you. And I'm talking about in the beginning of STEM, which is in free choice play, because play is an instinctive action of many young mammals, including humans, and it acts as an apprenticeship for adulthood. Play is the most important stage in a child starting their learning journey. And for example, Piaget recognized this when he started observing his children. And I'm particularly interested in the very, very early years, the 0 to 3-year-olds. And it is becoming increasingly recognized as a very important part of their learning in early formal school now as well. However, children start playing intuitively by themselves from their birth in the earliest years of their free choice investigations, and these are vital in their learning and experiencing science, technology, maths and engineering, which are often referred to as STEM, but this is STEM in action in their lives. I recognize STEM-E, STEM experiences, for these very first years of encountering STEM in action in the everyday world, where it is very apparent but rarely recognized by adults, parents, carers, communities, and I'm afraid early years professional practitioners, who they all seem to want to tell children what to do, to give them information now, which is far too early. First of all, they need these experiences. In all the work I do with parents and communities, I find that parents and the communities seem to think that these subjects have to be formal and in school and in a laboratory. They don't realize that the children experience in these very first encounters in play for themselves, and they're the very vital foundations on which the later learning, which we as teachers provide. It's vital that the adults working with the children don't give them instructions, unless, of course, it's a very dangerous situation. So it is very important to stand back, to listen and watch the children, observing what they're doing, hearing them, and if sitting with them, asking them a scaffolding question like, what else could you do? Why did you do that? What do you think might happen if you do so and so? Once a child reaches formal school, they're very likely to be instructed wherever they are in the world. And this innate investigative ability, which is the key to STEM, is, I'm afraid, lost. And I say this having been a school inspector and so on. If you observe children playing, you see them going through the stages of science inquiry, which is summarized in the play cycle which I identified. And moreover, experts are beginning to realize and announce that playing and finding out for themselves with what they, the child, chooses to play with, is developing not only STEM experiences and understanding, but the 21st century soft skills which people need to be able to apply what they know, to be able to critically think, to problem solve, to apply understanding to a new situation, to communicate, and in fact to self-regulate. These are all the executive skills that we need, and the children have them. They just lose them later on with all the formal instruction. And so these are things children intuitively do, and we should welcome that and cherish it. We mustn't forget that one size of play doesn't fit all, either in age nor in where they're living. And the play of an individual progresses with both their developmental age and with their experience and what they have available to investigate as they develop their skills and understanding. And in fact, the play cycle sequence has been used to document this progress. One of the most important yet under-recognized aspects of play is what the children choose to play with and start investigating. Because what they do in playing is investigating, but they don't choose to play with everything. And I've done a lot of museum work, whereas why does someone stop at this exhibit and not that exhibit? Such catching of interest and choosing to engage with something applies to everyday things in their lives as well as toys. And remember, toys are largely designed and made by adults for children. They're not designed and made by the children, who frequently don't use these toys in the way in which the adults intended them. Whilst there are a lot of different sorts of play, particularly in the USA and the UK, but rarely do you ever see in all the books about early childhood how children 0 to 3 learn in play, nor any reference to the science, let alone engineering and technology. We try to encourage parents, carers and communities to talk with children as the adults carry out their everyday tasks. The change, for instance, in uncooked rice to cooked rice is irreversible, and it's a very important science idea, but the children have to see it. Or dropping an item from a height which doesn't come back up, which babies sitting in high chairs and so on frequently do, and somebody picks the item up, gives them back to them, so they drop it again, so they're data collecting. Anyway, this pioneering work that's being conducted by this African research group is vitally important in increasing our understanding of play, but also the role that culture plays. And importantly, you cannot assume that research done in, say, the United States, Australia, or the 4 countries of the United Kingdom can just be applied to play in another country without understanding the ethos, philosophy and culture of a new location. And in fact, the same applies to any sort of research. I would add that in my long experience, adults, especially scientists and engineers and those involved in teaching, find it incredibly difficult to forget the science that they've learnt and all the theory, and to be able to recognise the very basic actions that children are choosing to do instinctively very often as they investigate in their play. They do not recognise that the children are exploring and experiencing the very beginnings of the theoretical understanding. And it is the actions we use every day, such as pushes and pulls, using our energy to make these things happen, that are STEM in action. But we need to let the children discover this for themselves. And it takes some skill and perseverance for the adults to used to telling children science, facts and so on, to recognise the children's investigations and findings out.
You've got to round up now. You've got to round up now.
Pushes and pulls, and not intervene. And many teachers find this holding back difficult, but it is vital that they learn how to do it. So this is a very, very exciting area, new area of research, and I absolutely applaud this group for taking it on.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Sue Dale Tunnicliffe, a long-standing member of NAST, and somebody who has engineered us to follow this line of research. I'm happy to announce that shortly after we started, the chair of CADASE, I told you CADASE is continental and diasporic African science education research interest group. Dr. Mary Atwater was president. I introduced her fully, of course, at the start of this event, and I apologize that she has not joined us. Now she has joined us, and she's going to give closing remarks at the end, but we're willing to ask if she can say a few words as we progress to the next stage. Mary, please. Mary, are you able to come on now? Okay, right. We'll come back to Mary. So listen to the theoretical framework. Now let us go to the design of the study. 1 minute, please. Our study proceeded in 2 phases. We had phase 1, which was a survey. We surveyed, it was Africa-wide survey. We surveyed these young children, 2 to 7-year-old children from Burundi. Miracle, can you please mute those who are interrupting us? From Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, and Nigeria. After that, we proceeded to develop the instrument, and then we conducted the case studies. The African Union has the continent in 6 regions, as you can see on the screen. And in 1913, when the Europeans came to Africa, they had it on a big table, the map of Africa, and they carved it into areas where they could colonize. And you have the areas colonized by the British, known as Anglophone, colonized by the French, Francophone, by the Portuguese, Lusophone, by the Arabs, and Arabophone. So in Africa, you have so many phones. So here you are going to be hearing so many phones because the people, our team is one that is composite, made up of scholars, researchers from the different parts of Africa. So we have a team from the Anglophone area, and you have a team from the Francophone area. As you will notice, the Francophone majorly engage their research and teaching in French. So we would have asked them that we don't have any translation there, so they just manage to give us their insight. I mean, they render their presentations in English. Prior to collecting data, we had intensive training for 4 weeks on observation as a qualitative data gathering technique and all that. And we recorded the videos of the children. In the blue box, you'll find our research questions. In analyzing our data, you'll be able to see a long table. This is just the tip of the table And we have the playground activities of the children and the related scientific knowledge or attitude. And for instance, using the catapult, using rubber band and paper, inflating the balloon, elasticity and motion. And I'm going to spare time here by saying that you're going to be getting a feel of the case studies as we progress. So let's listen to the context of our case studies. As I noted, we have 4 countries in alphabetical order: Burundi, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ghana, and Nigeria. It gives me a great pleasure to now invite our project leads from these countries to present the context. Dr. Bugoma Suwadu, you have the floor to present the context for Burundi. Dr. Bugoma, are you there? Okay, now let's go on to the contest for DRC. Yeah, David, can you unmute so that we can hear you?
Thank you, sir, for the floor. DRC is located in Central Africa and shares its borders with 9 countries. Second largest country in Africa after Algeria, with more than 2 million square kilometers and 90 million residents. Adult literacy in DRC is 77%, with 88 for men and 66 for women. Education system is composed of 8 plus 4 plus 5 or 6 years. DRC has diverse culture, but the drum and dance are common for all the provinces. You can see that using barefoot to beat of drum, adult dancing teach culture to the youngest. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. David Biamongo from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. If Dr. Bugoma is ready, we can take you. Else, we proceed to Ghana. Ghana, you have the floor. Dr. Fred Awa.
Thank you very much. Slides, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Ghana,
you can use your slide. You can use your slide, yeah, because Bugoma is not here. Okay. Or Dr. Oladejo, if you can share that. Okay, yeah, good. Thank you, Dr. Oladejo. Yes.
Ghana is a country of 30.8 million people, and then our educational structure is 6334. As at the year 2018, we had 79% adult literacy, with compulsory education in Ghana being from the age 8. Children under age 4, which is the catchment of my study, are usually at home or in the kindergartens. In Ghana, child play is intricately woven into our culture. So you would see a girl dancing adwa, the traditional dance of Ghana, bare-chested children playing soccer, which is integral for us, or wari. And then you would see 2 girls also here playing ampe. And then the final picture reflects Ghana's version of the kite as you have in Europe. Thank you so much for the audience.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ghana. Can we go to Nigeria?
Thank you very much, sir. Welcome you all to Nigeria. Nigeria is the 7th largest country in the world and the most populous country in Africa, with a population that is about 250 million and more than half of that population representing male. The structure of system education in Nigeria is the 6334, and the level of adult literacy is 62.2%. But even at that, the level of science literacy is very low. In this study, the children observed are between the ages of 1 to 5, and these children are mostly at home with their parents or attending preschool in their environment because primary education starts at the age of 6. Nigeria is a country that is rich in its own heritage and have different cultural diversity, with over 250 local languages and 70% represent Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. They vary from their food, the clothes they wear, and their cultural practices. Like you see on the screen, the children are not left out because they have their indigenous games that they do when they get back from school or when they're at home, like the Tinko Tinko, the Suwe game, and the Tente game. This game actually help them to build their accuracy and mathematical skill. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Nigeria. Perhaps we can, if Mule does not mind, you will take us the slide for Burundi. We can take Burundi. You can go to the slide for Burundi. We'll present the contest for Burundi. Dr. Bugoma, are you here? Okay, she's not. So let's take Burundi. I should be able to. Burundi, please. Yes, Burundi, as we have on the screen, is landlocked, low income, population of about 12 million, about half women by the 2019 estimates, and given its shape, is commonly known as the heart of Africa. This is where it is. It runs a 3-3-3-4 structure, and the adult literacy is 68.4%. Science literacy is low and is rich in culture, the cultural context and indigenous knowledge you find exemplified by the materials that we have on this slide. Now, after listening to the context of our work, let's now proceed to the case studies. We're going to take case studies of the rural and then case studies of the urban. Burundi is still not here. Perhaps I can, Kule, if you can share the video of Dr. Bugoma, I can present the rural. Yeah, so yes, you have the, yeah, go on, Kule. You went off again. All right, so let's go to DRC. Yes, Kule, let's have this. You want to go to slideshow? Yeah, you can see these children are playing the kange, and they are between 6 and 7, and they are in rural. They're favored, two of them, of course, 6 to 7 years old. Their parents' socioeconomic status is low. Let's go on to the findings from this video. Next slide, if you may. Kule, next slide. Yeah, next slide, Kule. Yeah, you see the children are jumping, they are moving around, they are doing serial counting, and the cultural attributes that we have here, the body language expresses their emotion when the girl turns around and winning, and the shame when the person is not winning. What about the STEM experiences that you can find? Is biology in action, muscular skeletal function, blood stimulation, heartbeat increase. There's physics there. Force, energy of motion, gravity, sound, gravity and sound energy. Mathematics is here. Game theory is here. Law of probability. And the 21st century skills that you can find here: collaboration, communication skills, and social skills. The second case we find quite interesting. We have these rural children trying to build a house from bricks and mud. The kid that we'll focus on is the little one, a 4-year-old kid. In a little while, he will be going to get mud to build his house and join the others, of course. he finds some excitement in going to replenish the, if you like, the supply. Let's see him. We actually have over 40 of these videos from rural and urban areas of Africa. So observation, exploring materials, movement, the cultural values, teamwork, hierarchy and leadership. You know, hierarchy. The young man is the young boy is respects the older ones and takes instructions from them. We have biology in action, physics, force, energy, motion, properties of materials. We have mathematics there. You have civil engineering there. And they are experimenting with items that are available. This indicates some understanding of the properties of the material. What about 21st century skills? Critical thinking, perseverance. You know, they're building and the thing is falling down and they are still making efforts to get the thing back. Social skills, you know, they're working together. And creativity in action, and also social responsibility. That is from Burundi. Let's move on to DRC, and I'm going to invite Dr. David Biamungu to give us the rural.
Thank you again, sir, for the floor. Welcome again in DRC. Children observed are from rural area. Let me take you a few seconds to watch the video. They are from low-income families with age comprised between 6 and 9. You can see that before starting the game, they draw the cycle, which is the rule of the game. Using the plum nuts, they are throwing the plum nuts in the air, and you can see that girls are so concentrated than the boy. She can change position as a gravitation of the cycle because a bad position predisposing the girl to not win the part. You can see with the ruler, someone when he fell, he give the part to another player. Let me now go to share with you the findings of this video. We can see that for activities, throw palm in the air, the girl went to find the stick to draw the cycle, but the boy used the plum nuts in their hands in the environment to draw directly the cycle. This is a cultural or indigenous practice, is the use of plum nuts as a dice. The girl was looking for a stick to draw the cycle. The cycle has been drawn by plum nuts by the boy, and then there is a respect for continuity of game for the winner. What's now the stem E in this game? We can see that there is probability because throw the dice in the air. Descriptive geometry, draw a cycle. Gravity on the cycle. You can see that sometimes girl change position in case to be in the good position for winning. The game was played in turn between boys and girls. This is a culture of respect of rules established in the society. The stem E, again, is projective geometry with precision, stochastic processes with inequality of winning chance, precision in geometrical space. You can see that girls are slower and more concentrated than boys with objectives of winning. Communication skills, creativity, problem solving, perseverance, and collaboration are 21st century skills in this case. Thank you again, Professor, and all participants for your listening.
Thank you so very much, Dr. David Beamongo is a professor of mathematics in university in DRC. They speak French there. So I'm so delighted that he's able, and like Bugoma, who is not here, of course he will come, they speak in French. So to be able to deliver this to us in English is very praiseworthy. We go to Nigeria. Let's have Dr. Olasukomi Gbeleyi take the floor. Rural children in Nigeria. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We welcome you once again. I'm very pleased to report from the rural setting of the Awori land here in Edessa, Ado, the local government area of Ogun State, Nigeria. The children are of ages 3 to 6 years, all males. Only one of them in the primary school, and the social economic status of his parents are low. Children are singing, they are dancing in their local language. Youngest paying attention. Small boy paying attention, wondering and observing to take the next step in the event. The dancing is peculiar. Sure. Dancing is peculiar to the Ekubu Eyo and the Adago Orisha Festival. Because of our time, let's move over to the findings from this video. The play activities, as narrated earlier, the cultural practices noted in the findings are the body gesture, leg movement, and the attire are peculiar to the Adagun Orisha Festival and the Eyo Festival in the Awori land in Nigeria. Moving over to the STEM experiences, you see from the small boy, that little boy, observation, attentiveness, friction from the ground, and energy, potential energy, kinetic energy, the sound from the stick hitting the plastic-like drum, then the force in beating this drum. All these are related to the same subjects that we have in the school. To the 21st century skill noted in the video. From the findings, it includes the teamwork, the collaboration, the communication, self-discipline among these children, physical fitness, they have all energy and the ability to work collaboratively, all beneficial career path and quality of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sukomi Gbeleyi from Nigeria. We've seen the perspectives of the rural. Let's go to the urban. And it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Fred Awa from Ghana to give us perspective from Ghana.
Thank you very much, Professor Kebukola. My video is one of two participants. That is the boy being 4 years and then the girl being 2 years. I think that when the video comes up shortly, you would see a number of child-related plays and how they reflect science within my country, Ghana. You would see them playing with a canoe-like object, like reflected in this video. And as I said, the boy is 4 and then the girl is 2. What we see now is reflective of science, movement, because the object is not stagnant, it is moving. Motion absolutely is the term here, and this is done with the aid of an assistant. Yes, so that is just one part of it. We also see the swing. See the swing here, which is reflective of rotation in science. Both the girl and the boy are playing, but of course you can see science here in motion. You can see science reflective of what they do. Here we see them climbing, reflective of heights in science. And then much as it is play, African scientists can attribute a lot of this to real science activities that we embark on or we teach in the classrooms. Thank you very much. And whilst we watch, there are interpretations to all of this. In the first instance, we saw the children rocking an artificial canoe. Does it have some cultural connotations for us? And the answer is yes. It is reflective of fishing activities by indigenous fishermen in Jamestown, Accra, Ghana, where their canoes are rocked by the sea waves. We also see some scientific perspectives. The first we see there is fluid mechanics, floating bodies, density, and buoyancy. The rocking of the canoe has bearings with the scientific concepts in physics. Differences in the weight at different points of the canoe cause the canoe to rock side to side. Another point is the principle guiding floating bodies. And finally, the question relates to whether this has anything to do with the 21st century skills. And I say yes, because we see clearly collaboration between the two children towards achieving what the play that they intended. Another that we have seen is the boy throwing rings on the trunk of an elephant. Now, culturally, it is reflective of hunting activities by the people of Winneba in the central region of Ghana during their annual Observatory Festival. Observatory means hunting or hunting for the animal. And then it also has some scientific connotations. We see clearly projectiles, focal points, gravitational force, while the children play. And the 21st century skills that are reflective in this part of the video is problem solving, for we see the children trying to resolve a number of issues.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Fred Awa. We move on to Nigeria, the second and final case study. There are two studies that will be reporting here. Dr. Oladejo, so you have the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all for attending this event.
You have muted yourself, so we cannot hear you.
I'm presenting a case study from Nigeria. Welcome to this event again once. This case study is was recorded in the school. You have, as you can see in this on this slide, there are 4 girls in the video. These girls are they're close from school and they are waiting for their parents to come and pick them. Let's take a few minutes to watch the video. In the video, you would observe that the young girl with the filler bag seemed to be the coordinator of this play. She leads the song, and then at the point, by her directive, they all jump. If you listen carefully, you would see that as they are jumping, they are counting 1 to 3 to 4 to 5. You could see the two of them opposite themselves trying to push one another with their chest. You would also observe through her leadership skill, as the young girl beside her is getting distracted by one thing or the other, she tries to call her attention back into the game, and that is leadership. You can see that, that is leadership. Let's now move to the findings of this video. Yes, the children are playing. As science educators, we saw beyond play. What did we see? We observed that the circular formation that they have explains or can be used to explain geometry in mathematics. The 4 angles, the girls in the different positions explain angles in square or in rectangle. Beyond that, as they are moving, jumping up, that is force, the use of energy to pull themselves up, then the gravitational pull of the earth that draws them back to the ground. Not only that, they sang. As they sing, sound is being produced. As their feet hit the floor, sound is produced. These are concepts that have places in STEM subjects. The jumping and the explains statics and sliding friction. If you look closely, you observe that from the class, rays of light coming in.
Yeah, Kule, you got to move very quickly now. Kule, move quickly.
Yes, sir.
Go to cultural.
So within this, we can see leadership,
yes.
teamwork,
yes.
collaborative and creativity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you want to call on Esther to take on the next one? That's the second and the final study here.
Dr. Oladejo, please let's take a few seconds to watch this video. These are urban children. The boy is 4 years, like the girl is 2 years old. They have the opportunity to play with toys. They are from average income family. You can see the boy playing the ears of the teddy bear to move them. So okay. Now let's move to the findings. From the video, the children were sitting on a big teddy bear, moving around the room, singing multiple poems. The STEM experiences observed motion, pause, weight. We have the sound also coming from the song. Then the force in which the boy exerted in pushing the girl alone is little in comparison to when he had to push both of them. The cultural perspectives related to their activity, that of a king in Yoruba land, for instance, when he wants to journey, he goes with a chariot and his royal bird sings songs of praises along with him. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you also very much for the case studies from the rural and the urban areas. We will now yield to our three members of our team to give us a synthesis, and they will do that in 6 minutes flat, 2 minutes each. Professor Juma Shabani, who is from Burundi, he is the president of the Burundi Academy of Science and Technology, a former UNESCO top director, and so Professor Juma Shabani, please take the floor for 2 minutes, and you yield to Professor Yinka Ogunlade, who has been working children's science for ages. He used to be the Deputy Vice Chancellor, University of Ado-Ekiti. And then to Dr. Rosie Agolo, who was the founder of the Junior Engineers, Technicians, and Scientists in Nigeria. She's based in the US. So Juma, please take the floor.
Thank you very much. I will provide a synthesis of these case studies regarding the cross-cutting findings. An analysis of the case studies shows that there are 3 main cross-cutting findings. The first one, children enjoy playing in groups. Second, they show leadership without being told what to do. And third, in rural or urban areas, every child is predisposed to learn science through daily activities. Thank you very much. Over to you, Professor Yinka.
Thank you very much, Prof. Synthesizing the STEM concepts that cut across all the 4 countries, I could itemize as a friction amongst the children, can identify the energy, which are of 2 types, the potential energy and the kinetic energy as the children move around and jumping down. There's production of sound vibrations, and we can also see the children sweating, having a sort of cooling effect on them with locomotive skills, the movement moving here and there. And one can allude that to the food intake, which gives them enough energy to do all these skills. And there's observatory skills, which one can really identify in all the children involved. We have the weight, the acceleration. The mathematical concept comes in with the probability exhibited and the geometrical inclusions in all their movement, especially when it comes to drawing the circle and getting angle. And the effect of gravitational force can also be identified that amongst all the children that's common in all the 4 countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you want to call on Dr. Rosagolo? Dr. Rosagolo, you have the floor, ma'am.
Hello, everybody.
2 minutes. Yeah.
What I have here is that the children learn a lot during the play, when they play, and when they play, they can learn how to count, cooperation, and listen to each other. Also, the play depends on the area they come from, and whether it's a rural area or urban area. The urban children play with toys most of the time, and they mimic what happens with the adults, like building with Legos, like people build houses. Children in the rural areas, they write on the sand, learn how to count, how to communicate, whereas people in the urban areas have access to pens and pencils and drawing papers that they can draw. So the children learn a lot by playing, and their play vary depending on culture, country, and whether they're in urban areas or rural areas. That's what I've been able to find out.
Oh, thank you so very much, Professor Juma Shabani, Professor Ogunlade, and Dr. Rose Arolo, helping us to synthesize the case studies from the 4 countries, from the rural and urban settings. We have 261 persons in the room. I'd like to thank you all for being part of this. But what do all of these things translate to? We've had a synthesis here. So we have a follow-up intervention for all of this. So we have documented the plays, the folklores, and all the things that children engage in. So what? The question you're going to ask us is, so what? Are we to just put this in as part of chapters in books or articles that we're going to be publishing? That will come to naught. It will come to naught if we do not follow up with the following interventions, which I'm happy to let you know we are on course with. Now we are finalizing some materials for parents, for caregivers, and for teachers. You know, we did say that science literacy in Africa is low. So how do you find a parent who sees the child riding a teddy bear or playing the game in the playground, or engaging in the game in the playground? How do you, when the child asks, "Oh, Dad, Mom, what is this?" The child who is scientifically illiterate will just say, "My friend, you go sit down there." So what we're trying to do is to develop an intervention that will hike the science literacy of our parents, of our caregivers, of those who are in the nursery, that's what we call kindergarten, to enable them to understand some of these kind of science concepts, to be able to explain to the children. So the logic is that if children can see science in what they do, their inquisitive and impressionable minds will be sold for science. So the materials we are developing is in English and in major local languages. And we are hoping to get this across to TV, to radio, so you can reach the rural areas. And I'm Yoruba, for instance. If I'm a Yoruba parent who is not so literate, I can get some information about all these things that the children are doing and what kind of science that there are there. So we've started with a series. And one of them is this: Children and Science in the Home. And we have 2 children in this number 1 around Juwon in Elegbada village. I've just taken some extracts from this, and you'll find that this child, this Ara on the right with purple, nice purple dress, before this time, they took the grandparents took them to the farm and they growing some maize. I said, but the father said it germinate. So I said, what is germination? And they then called the scientist to explain this in the book. So you can see this scientist here. Let me help you, Grandpa. The maize fruit you planted a few days ago is now growing to be a maize plant. It begins by seed growing and the rest that you can see on the screen. So he has been able to explain germination. So the young lad said, "Oh, this is amazing." And he said, "Uncle Juma, how do you know all this? Is it because you are a scientist?" And then the lady said, "When I grow up, I want to be a scientist like Juma." This is another, it's about 50 pages thing, this volume 1. In English, we're going to have it in all the major Nigerian languages, major African languages. And the 2 of them observing the stream, observing what was going on, because the grandfather and the grandparents told them that, "Look, you go to the stream, go and wash your clothes, and any of you that is able to list so many things that he or she has observed will get a prize." So Juwon is saying, "I'm observing a lot today, I will win Babagba's prize." The girl said, "I will win the prize because I'm observing more than you." So I'm getting home, they asked them asked the father, the grandfather some questions. So let us ask Uncle Juma and Auntie Yinka, who are great African scientists, to answer the questions as simply as they can. So the female African scientist will answer Juwon's questions, while Uncle Juma will answer Ara's questions. Answering the questions, and she asked, "I hope you're satisfied with the answers." Juwon said, "Yes, thank you, Auntie Yinka. You are such a brilliant scientist." And the girl said, oh, I also enjoy the answer. I never knew women can be scientists. When I grow up, I want to be a great female scientist too. So what's our forecast, distinguished ladies and gentlemen? We forecast that if well implemented in all 55 African countries, and I'd like to tell you that we have spread the news, I've sent word to the African Union Commission that this project is on, and they're happy with it. So in a little while, it's going to spread through African countries. We're going to have broadcast on TV, radio, and textual materials, and all that huge capacity building across the continent. That will hike the science literacy thing among rural population, urban population. And we predict that from 2047, you will ask, why 2047? This is because that will be 25 years from now, we're going to have a steady stream of scientists which is pumped into the workforce. Because now the volume, if you like, the number of scientists low relative to what we need. So this project, in my view, has brilliant future. And Agenda 2063 will stand a high chance of being attained. Now, CADASE of NAST will have quite a few people from Africa within that. NAST, as I told you, was founded 1928. CADASE in 2011. I think that the Africa, it's continental and diasporic African in science education research interest group. The continental group from Africa, where I am, not where Mary Atwater is about maybe like about half of the number. But Mary, I'm telling you that with this project implemented, NAS membership from Africa will swell by at least a factor of 20. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take question and answers. If you want to ask a question, just raise your electronic hand and we'll take you. We have 20 minutes, actually 25 minutes for the question and answer session. We have some rule here. If we call you, please, you got to activate your video. So I'm going to have a list of the first 4 people who will take the floor. I have Professor Yeto Shenge. Who else is taking the floor? Okay, nobody's okay, yeah. Kennedy Akudo. Kennedy, you got to activate your video when you are called. Who else? Okay, we'll take the 2 of them. Professor Shenge, please take the floor. Introduce yourself first, and then ask your question or make your contribution, and very briefly, please.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Nito Alexander Shenge of the Department of Psychology, University of Ibadan. I just want to note, it's not a question, just a quick observation. This is a very nice program. I must commend the people that initiated this program. I want to make a few observations. First, about the quality of play and the nature of playgrounds that we are having in Africa now. The kind of schools, kindergarten schools that are coming up today that are, because some of them don't even have playground, a very small structure, and that's a school. I think I have an issue with that, because when you compare that with what is happening in Western countries, then we have a long way to go. Secondly, the kind of toys that we have, they are tilted towards Western culture and so on. We need to indigenize our toys also, and begin to have something that is African in context and nature. Then lastly, the lady that presented some statistics on Africa, I think we have to be a little careful in presenting statistics. When she said, about the Nigerian ethnic groups, 250, of course, we know there are more than that. But then went ahead to say 70%, over 70% are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. These statistics have to be, we have to look at this thing very well, because sometimes they offend the sensibilities of quite a number of Nigerians.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Shenge. I know, maybe I don't know the ethnic group you want us to be top of that. Yeah, your points are noted, and we're going to get a response generally to some of them.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Professor Benjamin Kwaga, please take the floor. Introduce yourself That's a generic instruction.
Yes.
Introduce yourself and then ask your question or make your contribution. Make it brief, please.
My name is Benjamin Kwagba. I'm the Director of Academic Planning, Dominican University. I want to point out that before we say that STEM has failed in Africa, maybe in Nigeria in particular, we should first think of the socio-political factors, availability of social amenities and so on in elsewhere where STEM has been successful, and ask ourselves what role those things played in making STEM successful in light of our own failure here. Security, social amenities are key towards the success of STEM. So are we not putting the cart before the horse when we emphasize STEM without having those available?
Thank you so very much, Professor Benjamin Kwagwa. Let me just quickly answer yours. This project is not about STEM global. This project is about catching children young for science. So we are not looking at the science in your Dominican university with all the probably some challenges that you have. We are not looking there at all. In fact, it was Dr. Sudel Tunicliffe that told us that we have missed the boat. If I ask you how many students are enrolled in your university in science, you have just a very little number. So we want to increase that. We want to go back. So this project is about science, about children. I know you have children and grandchildren. We are not letting you know that the children in your house, when you are eating this night, tell them about the science about the food. Professor Chinanze, we take the floor, please. Professor Chinanze is not ready, so let's go to.
I'm ready. I'm trying to unmute. I've just unmuted. Thank you very much. Yeah. I am quite ready. I'm excited because I had started a small study like this in my place, catching them young for science. And I'm happy that the people working on that, I quickly send them information and they're all here. So we'll want to collaborate with you and get the perspectives of Igbo children too, see them work both in the rural area and in the urban area. So we are quite excited. I have Christian, Queen, Chidimma, 3 of them are here, and we'll be excited to work with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Chinanze, who is a long-standing member of NAST and of CADASE. Adimoha, Professor Adimoha, you have the floor. You may wish to unmute.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Ohaka Adimoha, a secondary school teacher from Abakaliki in Nigeria.
Wonderful.
I am so excited about the findings, and I commend those who initiated these projects. Our schools today, especially nursery and primary schools, including the secondary schools, we are so much focused on theories and how to read and write. We barely have chance for even break time. Even that break period is usually used for assignments, for other book activities. I think efforts should be made to encourage school proprietors and principals and heads of schools to inculcate these children plays in the school curriculum because of the benefits that are accruable from it. All these theories that we are studying were propounded by some people, and by these children play, they can actually make findings on their own. I think efforts should be made to encourage school heads to inculcate these plays in the school curriculum. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, Ohaka Adimoha. That's what we're doing. That's the project, our intervention. We're going to get everybody on board. The school head teachers, caregivers, parents, and all of that. So very well done. Chibweze Ogbonna, you have the floor. Kennedy Akudo, you also have the floor. Any of you that's able to unmute quickly, please take the floor. And Rachel Edino. Yes, Kennedy, keep going. Yeah, sorry, we cannot hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, carry on, Kennedy.
Good evening, everyone. It's all right. I want to appreciate the organizers of this program and the presenter, Professor P. Okebukola. I am Akudo Kennedy from the Lagos State University of Education, Nigeria. I am highly elated and highly impressed by this program. But I was captured, my attention was captured by what the presenter from Democratic Republic of Congo, that Congo is bordered around 9 countries. So I want to believe that this project should be extended to other countries in South Africa, North Africa, because so many countries, the like of Dr. Uchenna, that is highly interested in this program, who want to key into this program.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Kennedy. Thank you so very much. If you joined us at some point, I did say that we're doing a pilot run, 4 countries, but we're going to get on to 55 African countries. I said I've reached out to the leadership of the African Union, and they are quite happy about this project, and they are going to keep spreading all over the place. So thank you for what you have noted. Chibueze Ogbonna and Rachel Edino, any of you that is able to unmute. Yeah, Professor Chibueze Ogbonna, yes, take the floor.
Thank you, Prof. I also want to say I'm excited with what is happening. And it's interesting because, one, I'm just wondering if this has been integrated into the educational system in Africa. And then,
yeah, your network up.
On the other hand, I happen to have been appointed a beauty member by some young alumni of who are working on a so this one, like you said, missing the boat, I'm not sure and got the people young. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Professor Ogbonna, BOT member. Rachel Edino.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, just hold on, Professor Dr. Rachel Edino. You are carrying a baby. I so much love it. This my program is for the children. So you are the one. That's your child is a good participant here. Please go on.
Yeah, I'm calling from Alberta, Canada. That's I'm in University of Calgary. This is very just to thank you for the initiative. And what I want everybody to go on with is science communication, because if we don't even hear it, we won't be able to conduct it. So communication, science communication, please. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Rachel Edino from Calgary in Canada. Yes, I can't see any other hand up. Maybe I can get back to our presenters to make a few statements on what we've heard. First, Dr. Cyril Tunnicliffe, can you make some comments? We've heard about the need to expand this beyond.
Yeah, I think it is absolutely overwhelming. We've identified a need and people have taken it. And you don't need playgrounds and everything. The children will play wherever they are. And please don't forget the very, very young children. That's why we need to work with parents and caregivers, because these young children play and they're doing things. And we mustn't get too hung up on the science concepts in the very beginning. It's the experiences the children have to need. And I do agree, you need toys. You don't need the sort of plastic rubbish we get in this country made by grown-ups. When I'm in Bangladesh, there are a few things the children play with which are culturally relevant, but those children play with whatever they find. I suppose I should have put some of those slides on, but that's Bangladesh, which is a rather different part of the world from Africa. But many, many congratulations to everybody. And I think the enthusiasm is absolutely overwhelming. I just hope I can just still be part of it, even though I'm in London and white and old.
You know as well as I do, Dr. Sue, that the moment you trigger this action, you've been part of us. By the way, we meet every Sunday 6 to 7 for the past 2 years without fail, 6 to 7 every Sunday. Lady Sue, you are be part of us and you continue to be part of us. Marty Sanders, one of the early people to join us. You have the floor, Marty. You may wish to unmute yourself.
Sorry, it was unmuted.
No problem.
But it muted itself again. Sue mentioned the whole business of being white. And one of the things I've been wondering about is that we've got many white people, especially in Southern Africa, who are actually Africans and go back their generations through to the 1600s. So please don't forget about the white people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then just somebody mentioned they thought South Africa should get involved. So I'm from South Africa. I'm a secondary school teacher trainer.
Right.
We've got lots of materials and comics and things at secondary school level, primary level, and it's just that I don't know enough about the pre-primary to tell you, but I'm pretty sure there will be some stuff being done here. Thank you, Peter.
Yes.
It's been fantastic.
Thank you, Marty.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Can I just say,
yes, you can, Sue.
comment,
You can.
My comment about being white is I'm the only little white face when we have all our meetings, and I'm very conscious that I haven't experience of living in Africa. And can I just reiterate again that the very young children, it's before these curricula and these learning objectives get into place that is a very important stage.
Thank you, Dr. Sue Del Tunnicliffe. Now we're going to get the secretary of Zubeida, I'm going to call you Professor Zubeida Daga. These are the nasty giants. They're all here. Zubeida, I'll call you next after I've invited Rona Robinson Hill, who is the secretary of CADASE. You know, we're under the umbrella of the press chair of CADASE, Mary Atwater. She's going to be speaking to us towards the closing of everything, former president of NAST. Now, Rona, please, you have the floor.
Peter, I just want to thank you for letting CADASE launch this from the motherland.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I was late, but I'm just so grateful as vice president of CADASE to be a part of this. And you just, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Thank you so very much, Rona. Thank you
so much.
Thank you. We have 230 people in the room. 230 people in the room.
I saw that.
Yes.
252 when I came
Oh,
on.
yes.
It was 252.
Oh, wow. That's good. Thank you. Now, Zubeida Daga, former member of the board of directors of NAST. Zubeida and I go a very long way, back. You know, when I was in Australia, in 1990 as a visiting professor at Curtin University of Technology. Zubeida, please take the floor.
Hello, I want to congratulate the team for this amazing presentation and the amazing work that you are doing. As I was watching the beautiful videos, I could not but see the other side of this project that maybe you weren't, is not part, the immediate part of what you're doing, but the cultural anthropology aspect of it and documenting these games for future generation. There are some countries where these games are disappearing and nobody remembers them. They are disappearing from the consciousness of people. Preserving them, promoting them. We don't need extra things. As colleagues have said, kids will play with whatever they find, but there are these cultural games that are disappearing, and I think documenting them is a great thing. The one thing I wondered about, and I'm sure you're thinking about as well, is how to communicate to parents that, or caregivers, not to really inundate the kids with the science because they want to help them, because that will ruin the play and will ruin the science for the kids. It may, so I think this is a thing we struggle with even when we're working with preschool teachers or with elementary school, or actually any grade level. So this is a concern, but it's something to keep in mind it's a conversation for a later day, but I think the project is amazing. It will be a model, I think, for other places to think about and to adopt. And frankly, I'm very interested in the games themselves and maybe creating books about them and illustrations, and so that people will know about them and play them in Africa and in other parts of the world. Thank you so much for organizing this amazing conference and for all the work that the team is putting to promote good learning at any age.
Thank
Thanks.
you so very much, Professor Zubeida Daga. Where are you based now, Zubeida? I know you are in the Maryland area.
Yes, I'm at the University of Delaware in the state of Delaware, which is the third smallest state in the United States of America.
Thank you so very much. I'm going to ask Professor Ma Mohamed Jia, who is a professor of children. Professor Jia from Usman Danfodio University, you need to share your thoughts with us, either questions or make some comments. Yeah.
Thank you very much, the facilitator general. Actually, you have made my day. I'm so excited about this.
I think
But the one question and observation of West Africa College of Physicians now to ensure that all the hospitals also have this playground for the sick children. So I want to ask, apart from the schools, now as part of something we score, you have to have a score for accreditation. If you don't have a play for children in the hospital, as they are recovering, it affects their psychological, emotional, and intellectual capacity if you transfer them to have a playground. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, Professor Mohamed Jia, who is a professor of pediatrics.
And let's remember also the hospitals.
Thank you. Your point is well noted, and when we're wrapping up, we'll also make a mention of it. Yes, Sue, you have the floor again.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
In reply to Zubeida, really, we're all talking about two very distinct parts of this. We're talking about the bits of school and in playgrounds where it's all laid out. What I'm really talking about is the children at home, in just outside, wherever, without all the toys. And the problem is, as she said, working with communities and parents and talking to them and showing them that what they do every day is this STEM science in action, and they are action scientists. I said this to His Royal Highness Prince Philip a couple of years ago, and he was very excited and went around telling the royal household he was an action scientist too. And when you get that message across, and you don't need to have degrees and exams in science, you need to know what's going on every day and recognize that the children are learning the experiences. And you need to do workshops, and that's part of the point of the books that you're developing, Peter.
Yes, thank you so very much. I'm going to ask some people to speak, although they have not indicated that they will. I'm going to ask Jonathan Hall, excuse me. Jonathan, I'm going to call on you to say something, anything. And then Keith Taber, a great author, a great science educator, to also speak. I saw Felicia Mensah was here. She wrote that she will be slightly late, and she came in, she's in the room. So I have in this order, Jonathan Hall, Keith Taber, Felicia Mensah, and from Botswana, we're going to take Professor Samson and Yolaja. So let's do that a minute each, because we're going to end this session in about 12 minutes. And as soon as we finish this bit, we'll ask for quick responses, and then we'll yield to the chair of CADASE herself, Mary Atwater. So let's get on with it. Jonathan, say something, anything.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Hall. Thank you, Peter. I have been a part of the CADASE break for about 1.5 years now, helping out with the special administration session. And I just want to say thank you to this research group for presenting these findings and helping us see science in action in young children's lives and pointing that out. I can see so many implications for what I'm doing in my own work. So thank you so much for this presentation. It's been inspiring.
Thank you, Jonathan. Can we take on Keith?
Hello?
Yes, Keith, take the floor, Keith.
I wasn't looking to talk because I came to listen and hear.
Yeah, we know that. We know that. We ask you to just say anything, Keith. Say anything.
Well, firstly, can I say I think it's wonderful you're doing this. And secondly, can I say I love watching the videos. The thing that came to my mind through this was Vygotsky's ideas. Yeah. And the fact that this kind of reflects a couple of things been said about the difficulty that children have to develop these kind of intuitive concepts of the world, that then later in education we try to show them how formal scientific concepts can build on that. And that's not going to be easy. But the thing I'd love to learn more about is about the specific kind of folklore and folk elements from the different parts of the continent and how they may be built on to give things a kind of local relevance. And obviously you don't have time to do much on that today, but I hope I'll learn a lot more about this project in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Keith. And well done on the great work you are doing in getting a lot of textual materials, science education for everybody. Felicia, are you still there? Felicia Moore?
Yes, I'm here.
Good,
Hello,
Felicia.
everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Felicia is one of the giants in NERST, a giant in CADASE, board of directors, everything. Felicia, take the floor.
No, I just wanted to give my greetings to everyone and thank you for having me here. I was coming out of a department chair meeting, so I missed your presentations, but I know that they're recorded, so it's going to give me something to do in my time off to watch them and just to be able to support all the wonderful work that everybody is doing. So thank you.
Thank you so very much, Felicia. And I think have Brother Samson Anyolaja all the way from Botswana to wrap this segment of our Q&A up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It's a new vista of knowledge for me and how to catch the children actually very young in science. It is really very interesting to me that we can teach, we can learn. The children are learning quite a lot of things in their play, in their normal play. I am very happy that I am part of this particular lecture this evening. And at the same time, lastly, I want to acknowledge that today is 17th of February.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. Now, that will be it, but I'm going to ask our speakers if they have one thing or two to say. We have just 1 minute to do that. So let me just leave the floor to any of our speakers, presenters who have something to say. We have 30 seconds each for anybody who wants to take the floor. On the folklore thing, I agree with Keith Jabber that we couldn't really have much time, but we'll be letting you see how well we're doing the folklore.
Excuse me, I just want to react.
Yeah, Professor Ogunlade, you have 30 seconds, please, ma'am.
I want to react to the issue of indigenous.
30 seconds, ma'am.
Yes, I want to react to the. Yes, I want to react to the. Yeah, I want to react to the issue of indigenous toys. That we are doing something in that area, using non-formal approach, utilizing locally available materials. So we are looking in that direction, and it's yielding a lot of results.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for keeping well within 30 seconds. Any other from our team, the presenters? None. I think as we're going along, we're responding to the comments or questions from those who are doing the Q&A. I have a hand that is raised here that I cannot refuse, and that's the president of Febala University, one of Nigeria's leading universities. She's a professor of law, a grandmother. So your grandchildren, be teaching them science. So over to you. You have 30 seconds too, Professor Smaranda Olaredi. 30 seconds.
Great exercise, and what I enjoyed most, everybody was having fun. It was fun for them, it was fun for us, and we was at the same time we were learning. That's all my contribution.
Oh, wonderful.
Learning must be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
As just like playing.
Yes, just like play. Thank you. At this stage, in 6 minutes, we have 6 minutes. We are going to invite Dr. Mary Atwater, a giant in global science education research. The first, I told you, NAST was established in 1928. She's the first woman of African descent who was president of NAST. And she made a proposal, even before being president, to establish this continental, to establish CADASE in NAST. And she was the founding chair of CADASE. She's current chair, and I'm going to invite her to give her closing thoughts and then close this session. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you very much. And it is a pleasure to see that we had 261 participants for this first CADASE webinar. CADASE stands for, as the professor has told us many times, Continental and Diasporic Africa in Science Education. And it is befitting that the first CADASE webinar came from the African continent. Most fitting. And it is also most fitting that this webinar focused on the young children who will be the leaders of the future. I agree that if we want scientists, engineers, technicians, and mathematicians, they come from the children now. If we want to do. And I'm going to ask Peter a favor. You told me there's a book called Children of Science, and I would like to know how I can buy a copy of that book.
Free for you. Free for you.
It is necessary that children of African ancestry see that book in the United States and be able to read it, to know that children on the African continent are just like them. They're very knowledgeable. They are very smart, because in some places in the United States, they want people to believe that poverty is the only thing that reigns on the African continent. So I would like to have a copy of that book so I can show people, and I want to know how I can buy more. The other thing is, we do have some other people here that are members of NARS. We have Professor Eileen Parsons, who is the immediate past president of NARS. We have Professor Melody Russell, who is the chair of the elections committee. You've already heard from Professor Felicia Mensah. And we have Professor Jennifer Adams, who is on now the NARS board. We have also many members from the CADASE steering committee who are here. But I want to share something that has moved me today. And that is, I found it amazing that I could sit here and see 261 people who are interested in research related to people of African ancestry. When this research interest group started, it's been now several years ago, I knew it would be possible to have a small group started. But the CADASE Rig is the largest research interest group at NARS. It is the most active group at NARS. And thanks to Professor Peter Okabukala, I can finally pronounce his last name, that we are the first rig that's had the first webinar, and we've had 261 participants. And we will have more because this has been recorded, and students and other faculty members at other universities and colleges throughout the world will be able to look at this. And I want to say one more thing about this research study. I know that the main purpose of this research group is to uplift the people on the African continent. I know that. I understand that. But it should have also another purpose, and that is to help people, and I'm going to say people in the United States of America because that's where I live, to come to understand how we can do this with people in the United States of America, and that you all can show us how to do it. Because it's not being done here in the United States of America with what banks call the micro-cultural groups that we have in the United States. So I do hope that you will give presentations at NARS, because I know you're giving some this year at the 2022 annual International Conference. But I also hope that you will, and maybe Peter will provide the leadership of trying to have a special issue of JARS on this. And that means then that Professor Mensa might help you get that done, because I think that this needs to be read and known by people who are researchers in the science ed community. I don't know if my 6 minutes are now up, but I want to commend you for your work. I went through and looked at each one of you many times, trying to find out if I knew any of you. So I saw one or two people on the African continent that I had met before. But the only African country I have ever been to is South Africa, which I understand is not a part of this group, which I may or may not understand why. But I do wish you well in your efforts. If there's anything I can do to help you, I will attempt to do it. And again, congratulations, because this is a wonderful, wonderful research effort, but it is also an effort that will help people to learn STEM. And that's what we're all about at CADASE. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can we give some applause to our chair of CADASE, Mary Atwater, former president of NARST. That brings us to the end of this webinar.
Please, can I say something?
Yeah, we did propose that we will spend 90 minutes. 90 minutes is gone over by 2 minutes. So on this note, I would like to thank you all for attending. And then, oh, sorry, Mommy, we can't take any more. That will be it. And we're looking forward to your participating in future CADASE events. So bye-bye and have a very good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.